Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be discussing books in this video. This is my September reads video, and honestly I didn't read that much again. I'm really behind. I set myself a challenge to read 2 books a week, totaling to 104 books a year, and I am very behind with my books. I think I'm on like book 65, 66, and by now, as of when I'm recording this video right now, I should be on book 82. So I'm quite behind. I'm going to take my glasses, the difference, move my glasses off just for a moment because I think they're glaring. So I read 5 books, and to be fair, there weren't that many good ones. Well, one good one. So we're going to start off with this one, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. This is called Rekha, and it says, "She saved his life and might cost hers." It's by Noel O'Reilly, really. And I got this from the airport and it sounded really good. So it says, "Shipwrecks are part of life and death in Port Morven, Cornwall. But when, after a fierce storm, Mary Blight rescues a drowning man from the sea, she brings trouble to the village. For Gideon Blight, Methodist minister from Newland, is determined to save the villagers from the superstitious and pagan beliefs they cling to. And not everyone wants to be saved. As Mary and Gideon are increasingly drawn together, jealousy, rumour and suspicion is rife, and Gideon has the demons on his own face." See, that sounds so good, but honestly this book was so crap. It was rubbish. I think most of the time I'm like, yeah, I recommend this book. Don't bother reading this book. So I'm going to read my notes because this was a while ago. It's nearly the end of October whilst I'm recording this. But so it says, so this town or this village, scavengers from shipwrecks, and that's how they survive. And Mary comes across a girl that had her ears bitten off, and then there's a whole controversy. But everyone's like, who bit off the ears and that, and blah blah blah. Mary saves Gideon, as it says, and no one likes Mary. No one likes her at all. She's from a rundown family. It's just her sister and her mum. Her mum's ill, and just no one likes Mary because of her personality. She doesn't follow the ways of the village. She's very, I want to do my own thing. I want to leave from this area. So, but Mary becomes a religious person after meeting Gideon, and she wants to become free and escape, and becomes religious, and she becomes like Sunday school, and people don't want her to become a Sunday school teacher. You learn that Gideon has quite a dark side, and basically loads of things happen that throws them together. They get together, and then in the end Mary gets prosecuted for being the one that bit the lady's ears, and she escapes. And Gideon ends up getting on the boat and escaping with her, and that's the end of them. It finishes with them escaping together, basically. But honestly, I don't chuck books, but that is a rubbish book. I don't recommend it. It was rubbish. Okay, the next book I read was called Slave. It's Anna with Jason Johnson, soon to be a TV drama. Interesting. So, this is the heartbreaking true story of one of the UK's most shocking modern-day slavery cases. Anna was an innocent student living in London when she was kidnapped, beaten and forced into the sex slave industry. Threatened and tormented by her pimps, she was made to have sex with thousands of men, but she would not allow them to break her. On learning that she would be trafficked from Ireland to Dubai, she found the courage to trick abusers and flee. Later she would find that same resilience to help the police in the UK bring her down her abductors. I need to sneeze. This is a cover and I really need to sneeze. No? Yes? Do you need to sneeze? It's gone. Okay, so Anna grew up in Romania. She wanted a better life, so she moved to London. She had a little routine, and one day she got kidnapped and taken to Ireland. She was sold there, she was raped, she was beaten. She ended up with cracked teeth. Her teeth got really bad because the lady of the house, the pimp's mistress lady, kept slamming the door on her face, and it messed her teeth up, and they really got cracked. She got her back sliced, and she kept trying. She would put up resistance, and in the end she realised that by giving in, she got looked after more than she would have if she kept saying no and beating up the customers and everything. She escaped and met Andy, who was a drug dealer, and he helped her. She'd met Andy for a bit, and he gave her a bit of an insight idea. Who was I don't know how to explain it. She met Andy, and he wanted to say that he could help her. Then she escaped and went to Andy, and he's a drug dealer, and he helped her for a little while. She drove around for him and everything, and had a little money, got a bit of a confidence back. But then Andy got arrested, and then she was on her own again. Then she met a guy called Tom. He is a reporter, and she wanted to tell her story. He then helped her go to the police, and then they worked with the PSNI. and she actually created a new law in Northern Ireland about like trafficking and prostitution and everything. It's a really good read, honestly. It's so sad and it's so eye-opening because you wouldn't expect this sort of stuff to be happening, like, kind of thing. When did this come? I can't remember what year this was in. 2011, I think it was, something. But they do say that some of the dates have changed. This was published in 2018. I think the events were like 2011, roughly. But you wouldn't think it to happen, and it is an eye-opener, and it's a really interesting read and a sad read. But I do recommend it, so that's that one. Okay, the next one I read, again, was a load of crap. I got this from, I've also made notes apparently, so I got this from a charity shop for 50p, and it's called Wild Witch, and it's by Doreen Roberts, and it says, Josh Montague, I can't speak, Josh goes to stay with Aunt Sarah, and thus begins a visit that would change not only his life, but those dearest to him. Wild Witch is a tale of intrigue and mystery, of young love and constancy, of tragedy and rebirth. So it sounds really interesting. Is it really interesting? No, it's a load of crap. I'm going to read my notes, okay? So Josh visits his Aunt Sarah, and on the very first day he meets a girl called Belle, and they fall in love. They're like obsessed with each other. They fall in love, which is really stupid because like they literally just meet and then they fall in love, and they go to the old boat, which is called the Wild Witch, and the Wild Witch, the old boat is what opens up their world, and they want to like investigate what's going on. The boat is full of mystery. So it turns out that Sarah, whose aunt, is actually his mum. There was a big accident with his dad, which caused his dad to die, like become disabled, and Sarah, his aunt, who is his mum, gave him up to her brother, who he thinks is his dad / mum. So his aunt is his mum, and his mum and dad are his aunt and uncle, basically. So this old guy called Jacob is actually his grandfather, and he dies in it, and then Sarah ends up burning the boat down, and then she dies, and then his mum and dad, who he thought was his mum and dad but aren't actually his mum and dad, they then die as well at the end when they're coming to get him. So basically loads of people die. It's rubbish, and to make it worse, even like more like how bad it is, where is it? There was a lot of spelling mistakes in that. I have put things here where I've obviously marked off where there's spelling mistakes. So I think that things were cases of where they didn't do full stops, they didn't do commas, the grammar is really bad. I'm trying to find like a good example, and it was just poorly written. Like so, oh here you go, here's an example. So it said, Josh eyed Belle struggling up slope toward them carrying a load plastic bag. He ran down to relieve her of their picnic lunch. So they've got a capital H for he, so clearly they wanted a full stop before the plastic bag, but there isn't a full stop, or even a comma. They needed something there. But it just goes on, and it's just so terrible, and there's more. Like, I put loads of sticky notes, so I'm going to show it to you, but it's so badly written, this was terrible. And this one made me laugh. They and Phyllis were on their journey to visit Tim. That's how it starts, they and Phyllis. And there's a bug in my hand, which I just killed. It is, honestly, a terrible book, do not read it. If you ever see it, look away, ignore it. Terrible book. Okay. The next one I read is Let It Go, A Frozen Twister's Tale by Jen Kalanita. I love these books. I have mentioned these a few times. So this one says, what if Anna and Elsa never knew each other? So basically, Anna and Elsa do not know each other. They were sisters, but they got cursed to protect each other. Like when the troll is going to take like Anna's memories and change them, Elsa actually intervenes in this, and the curse, like a curse is set where they don't know each other. The mum always visits Anna though, and Anna sees her as another person. Anna works at a bakery and loves to bake and loves to cook. Hans is actually trying to get with Elsa, and it's like Elsa's all really vulnerable and he's trying to get Elsa to marry him. Anna and Kristoff still meet each other, and Anna gets Kristoff to help her find Elsa because she feels like the princess needs help, but she doesn't know why she needs to help her. She just feels like she needs to help her. Like they start to think they need to help each other, but they don't know. And then basically they have to get their memories before they meet, otherwise bad things could happen. And in the end, just like the film, Anna reaches out, protects Elsa from getting stabbed in the back. But honestly, this is a really good version of Let It Go. It's a really good different story. It's a really good different story, and it's a nice twist. I really enjoyed it, and I don't think this took me very long to read. This is actually one of the new ones as well. This one actually came out this year. And I don't, oh look, it's a room tag. I really recommend this. If you like Disney and you like fairy tales and you like little twist of things, like twist of the fairy tales and Disney stories, I highly recommend it because it's really good. And just to read you the back here, it says, following the unexpected death of her parents, Elsa finds herself the sole ruler of Arendelle, and mysterious powers begin to reveal themselves. Because yeah, she also forgot that she had her powers until her parents died. Elsa starts to remember fragments of her childhood that seem to have been erased, pieces that include a familiar-looking girl. Determined to fill the void she has always felt, Elsa must take a journey across her icy kingdom to undo a terrible curse and find the missing princess. Honestly, it's an amazing book. I highly recommend it. Okay, and then the last one I read is Fly Away Home. Again, I got this from a charity shop for 50p. So basically, when Amy Alden discovers a nest of goose eggs and brings them home to hatch, the newborns imprint on her, following her everywhere, claiming her as their mother. As they grow, Amy and her dad realise they must take on responsibility of teaching the birds to migrate for the winter. From Canada to North Carolina, father, daughter and geese all learn to fly together. I love, and I mean it, I love the film version of this. I can remember when I was little, I think we had it on video. It used to be on TV anyway. I have a feeling we had it on video as well. It's actually got Anna Paquin in it, who I love, when she was a child. So basically, Amy's mum dies and she lives in Australia and she gets shipped to her dad in Canada. Amy at first is really like grumpy and thinks her dad's really weird and is annoyed that her dad like deserted her because he didn't see her for years afterwards. And then she finds these eggs. She found 16 goose eggs. And she looks after them and hatches them and raises them. And it's not only a story of her and her dad helping these geese learn to fly, these like geese getting to like migrating ready for the winter, but it's also about like Amy and her father developing this bond and getting their like relationship back. And it's such a sweet book and it's such a lovely book. And I honestly, I can't, like, I love it. If you haven't seen the film, go watch the film because the film was amazing. But also, if you're a reader like me, read the book as well because the book is awesome. I highly recommend it. But there you go. That is all the books that I read in September. Hopefully I didn't talk too much or like too quickly, and hopefully you understood what I was saying. And yeah, honestly, my favourite one out of the whole of them was the Let It Go one because that was the best one. So the two books that I was highly disappointed, I'm not even sure if I want to keep them for my library. I might just chuck them and put them back in my charity shop because those two were terrible and I don't recommend them. But The Slave, Let It Go and the Far Away Home one, like not Far Away Home, Fly Away Home one, read because they are awesome books. Anyway, thank you for watching. If there's any books that you recommend me reading, because I read pretty much anything, let me know in the comments below and I'll check that out. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have videos twice a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, and I think that's everything I want to say. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever the time it is. I hope you've been smiling because that's the most important thing, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!